and we will begin. So thank you everyone for getting on the call. And I want to introduce tonight's speaker, the creator of the Shift Shop, Chris Downing. Thank you so much for making the time to speak with us. I know all the coaches on the call that have done your program are very excited to hear you speak. And I know you and Josh have already talked about what you were going to talk about this evening, so I'm planning to just turn this over to you, but thank you again for being on our call.
Well, thank you for having me. What's up, Em and Jen? Lindsay, what's going on? So I feel like maybe we should do a little bit what I've done with the Denver Council and Edmonton. I don't know, and then we'll just open it up. That sound good? Because I'd rather just, I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about, ways that, we can maybe shine some light on your businesses. Because I feel like, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of, doubt, this is a whole lot of, you know what I mean? And so I just feel like maybe we can maybe just shine some light on that. I took a couple months and I really kind of processed. It's so weird. My heart was just so heavy. It was around October. I went on that little tour and my heart was just so heavy and I couldn't really shake it. And I was just thinking like, what's the problem? So I was meditating and just kind of like trying to fill out to see if it was something I was doing wrong and it just kind of like, I felt like I felt the burden of the network, like the burden of the people. And then just all these various different things just started surfacing, like maybe, lack of support at home, new coaches kind of walking in this thing blindly, kind of you guys having some, fear and worries of how to transition to the new BOD concept and, what you feel you may have lost in the process. Keeping your teams motivated was probably one of the top things that was burdening me. And then I think it was just more of, everyone's just kind of like scattered. And, some people don't know, questioning if they should be a coach or questioning, if they're doing the right thing. And it's just a whole lot of pressure, a whole lot of just different things. And so, in the midst of that, I just kind of start digging deep and I just start coming up with all these concepts that was so powerful. And I started sharing them with the other groups and it was highly effective. Actually, I just got a text message like 2 minutes ago that the Denver Super Saturday, I'm actually leaving for Denver tomorrow morning, outsold everybody. Like outsold, the other trainers. And I did 2 mastermind calls with them. The VIP tickets, I did 2 mastermind Zoom calls where I shared what I felt would enhance their business. And then I did another Zoom call with general admission and they sold like 100 tickets in 12 hours. And so it was kind of like, whoa. So I'm like, well, let's just keep doing that everywhere. And so when Josh is from we live in the same town. So when Josh asked me to do the call, I didn't even hesitate. So let's just go. A sign of hands. How many of you are frustrated? just frustrated. How many of you are like really frustrated? Give me 2 hands. It's okay. It's just us. Don't worry. I don't have cameras. Well, I do have cameras behind me, but they're not going to tell on you. How many of you had a tough year? That's awesome. Like that's really good. How many of you are just struggling with self stuff, like, mindset stuff? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So before we get going, I need everybody to close their eyes for 1 minute. Let's just meditate for a second. Just block out all the interferences. Just focus on your breathing. Deep inhale in. Just breathe. Just bring all your attention to the call. Nothing outside the call matters right now. Just focus on your breathing. For 30 seconds. Seconds. Okay, cool. All right. So I just want you guys just to hear me. Just take in what you can take in. If it gets too heavy, just try to shut it down a little bit, but just kind of hear where I'm going with it. So I kind of like took some deep thought into the network and what I felt, everyone is missing. And what I came to was one conclusion: identity. I feel like a lot of coaches are struggling with an identity. It's an identity crisis. And what I mean by that is sometimes if you don't know who you are, you don't really know what you're entitled to or where you're going. Let me say it again. Sometimes when you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're entitled to or where you're going. Okay? I said all that to bring it in a sense of we live in this big world, guys, this huge world, and it's full of potential and it's full of possibility. And then there's this thing called competition. And, everyone is like in the midst of like running this race, there's competition and there's jealousy, there's envy, there's backstabbing, there's shadiness, there's all these evil and crooked things to get to the top. And if you ask yourself, like, what's really at the top? What's really there? Like what does it mean to be at the top? You see what I'm saying? You have all the money in the world and all the success in the world and still be broke. Because if your spirit is off, none of that matters. If you're a bad person, none of that matters. You got evil, malice, things in your heart that don't matter. That's not success. That's idolatry. You see what I'm saying? Self-idolatry is ego. And so, what I really want you guys to understand is when I first came into this whole, Beachbody experience, one of my training calls, they were trying to introduce me to, the business and what to look forward to before I got announced. And they start talking about the network. And I'm like, is that a television station? Like, I had no idea what the network meant. So finally I said, well, what does a network mean? And they said, that's the coaches. I said, oh, okay. Because all I heard was coaches. So I heard the word network. I'm thinking, like, is that a subscription or like, what is it? Like a radio station? And no, it's the coaches. They're called the network. And they said, so, when you get announced, your social presence will grow. When they see you, they want pictures, autographs. And said, and you don't have to do all of it if you don't want, if you're not comfortable. It's nice. They like to have pictures. I said, no, I want to be with them. Like, I need to be with those people, like all of them. Like, I need to be right in the middle of all of it. He was like, well, why is that? I said, because you know why? If I can't impact the network, then I can't do anything in the world. Like, this is supposed to be Team Beachbody, right? Like, this is supposed to be a team thing. We're supposed to have each other's back. We're supposed to love, empower, and inspire each other, bring out the best in each other, right? So if I can't tackle this group of a couple 100,000 and help them and bring out the best in them, there's just nothing I could do for anybody else because that's supposed to be my family, right? And he said, well, no one's ever really broke it down to us like that. So I started like taking the last 7 months, 7 months and just analyzing everything. And what I came to is I think everyone is saying that they're struggling, with their business. They're struggling with their weight. They're struggling with all these different things. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not struggling with your business. You're not even struggling with weight. You're not struggling with nutrition. What you're struggling with is your identity. You don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. How many of you are mothers? There isn't a mother on this call right now that would give their kid poison. There isn't a mother on this call right now that would give their kid something that's not good for them, because you love that child unconditionally. You do anything in the world for that child. You work long hours for that child. Most of you max out your credit cards for those children. You see what I'm saying? So if you got all that love for them, what about yourself? And I started, all this stuff just started taking me down memory lane. And I started thinking there was a time in my life, guys, where I'm a great dad. Like, nobody in this world can tell me I'm not a great dad. I love my kids, man. Like, my kids look like me. They smile like me. They act like me. They're just little mini-me's. I call them little Downey Knights. That's what I call them, because they all look like me. And so I realized something. As much as I love my kids, I was loving them was loving them from a fear perspective. And I wasn't loving them at 100%. The reason why I wasn't loving my kids at 100%, because I didn't love myself at 100%. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I didn't love myself at 100% is because when I was a child, I was molested twice. When I was 4, when I was 6. 4 by a woman, 6 by a man. And I had resentment in my heart. You see what I'm saying? I was adopted. My pops wasn't in my life. My mom was a prostitute. She was a drug addict. She wasn't in my life. So I had resentment towards my mom and my dad because they got me in this world, and I'm abandoned. Like, I dealt with abandonment and rejection. And so I'm loving my kids out of fear of not being anything like my parents. You see what I'm saying? I was loving them from the wrong perspective instead of loving them as a gift, like I really should have been, but I was loving them out of a crisis, right? And so I'm in this situation where I love my kids unconditionally, and I do anything in the world for them, right? But then there's this 20% that I'm holding back, that I'm broken, that I'm robbing my kids. They're getting 80% of their dad. So what I'm doing is I'm raising them, is subliminally, I'm teaching them how to love off of 80%. That makes sense to you? They may not know I'm loving them with 80%, but that's the energy that I'm letting off. So when they get older, they're going to love their kids based on what they were taught, right? So I started thinking, like, I got to shape this. Like, how do I shape this? So one summer, I'm at my aunt's house, and I always said to myself, if I ever saw the dude that molested me when I was a child, I was just going to deal with him. Like, I was going to crack his face. I'm being 100% authentic with you guys. I'm serious. Like, I told myself, if I ever see this guy, I'm just going to break his face. Because he violated me. Like, he did something to me really bad. Like, he damaged me, right? And I didn't have the courage to talk to my pops and tell him how I really felt. I just felt like I didn't need him. And I really didn't talk to my mom because I felt like I didn't need her either. But those 3 people did something really bad to me. So one day, it's a summer day, I'm at my aunt's house, and she's barbecuing, and I just happened to look to the right at the neighbor's house, and guess who was sitting there? The dude that molested me. 20-something years later, 22 years later is when I seen this guy. I'm sorry, 28 years later. And so I'm thinking to myself, this is the moment right here. Like, I'm about to hurt him. I'm a big, strong guy. I'm getting ready. Like, I'm about to. He's gonna get it. He's really gonna get it. So I got up. All of a sudden, 80-20. 80%, 20%. 80% you loving your kids. 20% is broken. All right? 20% is broken.
Yeah.
So I went up to the dude. He looked at me because he couldn't tell from afar. I walked up to him. He saw a ghost. Eyes got real big because I still got the same face since I was a kid. I said, man, can I talk to you for a second? And there's people around. So he's kind of doing this. And he kind of felt obligated to get up because he really didn't want me to say what I wanted to say in front of people. You see what I'm saying? So he took a leap. He got up. So I said, come on, let's go for a little walk, man. So we went for a walk. I got him away from everybody. I said, you know who I am, right? He was like, yeah, you're Chris, right? I was like, you know who I am, man. I said, listen, I always told myself if I ever saw you, I was going to confront the situation that you did to me when I was a little boy. I said, man, I got kids. I got beautiful kids. I said, but there's a part of me that's missing that you took that I can't give my kids. He said, what do you mean? I said, there's a part of me that's broken that you took that's keeping me from loving my kids at 100%, man. I said, and the only way I can be the father that I truly want to be is if I forgive you. And I said, man, listen, you know what you did to me. I know what you did to me. I said, man, I'm going to forgive you right now. There's no beef. There's no issues. But I'm going to ask you something, man, to never hurt or harm another child, anybody for that matter. And the guy got tears in his eyes. He said, you don't understand the guilt I dealt with for years over it. I said, okay, it's all good, man. I'm just letting you know, man to man, that we cool, man. We're cool. I'm squashing it. Let's just put it, I need to set myself free of this. So I gave him a hug, right? I gave him a hug, told him everything was cool, shook his hand, turned around, walked away, told my aunt I had to leave, got my car, bawled my eyes out as I'm driving home, right? I mean, I bawled my eyes out. And the deeper I cried, the more peace I start getting. Like, it was like one of those cries where, like, the tears is so thick, like you feel them fall off your face, and you look down and it's a legitimate puddle. Like, it was thick tears. It was tears of hurt. It was tears of abuse. It was like all the stuff that I had bottled in. So I got home, and I was already in this emotional state. So what I did is I picked up my phone. I called my dad. I said, what's up, Dad? He said, Chris? Because I don't talk to him. I said, yeah, how you doing, man? He said, I can't believe you calling me. I said, Pops, listen, man. I just want to let you know I forgive you for everything you've ever done to me, man, not being there. And I said, you want to make this right with me, make up in my kid's life what you wanted to do for me. I said, I just want you to know, man, from this moment forward, we got a clean slate. My pops cried. First time he cried in 10 years. Said he dealt with guilt. He wanted to kill himself and all these different things because he didn't help me become the person that I was becoming. Hung up, called my mom, told my mom, despite everything you've been through, you just happen to have bad luck. I just want to let you know that from this moment forward, we got a clean slate. Make up in my kid's life what you couldn't do for me. All right? Hung up with her, and all of a sudden, I had complete peace. Like, I felt free. Here's the thing that was crazy. In the midst of that, I really realized I didn't do that for Butch. I didn't do that for my dad or my mom. I did that for me because they had a stronghold. It was a stronghold on me. Like, that situation was controlling 20% of my life. You see what I'm saying? I could never be the person that I am today had I not forgiven those people. I could never be the trainer. I could never be the parent. All of a sudden, explain this to me, guys. Once I forgave them, I had no resentment in my heart. All of a sudden, I started having so much compassion in my heart for people with depression, anxiety, fear, worry, low self-esteem, molestation, all these different things, weight issues. I never had weight problems. So I really don't know how to connect with a person that has a weight problem. But what I could connect with is the insecurities they feel, the rejection they feel, the abandonment they felt, everything that they felt that they ran to food. That's why you guys are drawn to me. You're not drawn to me because I'm a good trainer. Come on, man. You could put any trainer in my situation, say, spider climbers in 3, 2, 1, and it's spider climbers. It has nothing to do with spider climbers, has nothing to do with butt kicks, has nothing to do with double cross sprint, none of that stuff. It has everything to do with the engagement. I connect with each and every person at each and every fitness level. You see what I'm saying? Emotionally. You guys are drawn to me emotionally. These fellas is drawn to me emotionally because I say things that some of them really don't want to say because we're supposed to be kings. But you can still be a king and still be emotional. You see what I'm saying? It's all about engagement. And so the thing about it, what really got me, guys, is what I understood is when I did that, all of a sudden my training went to a whole new level. Like, it just really went to a level I couldn't explain. It was almost like everything I did was an out-of-body experience. Things that came off my lips, that stuff's not rehearsed. When we did Shift Shop, that ain't rehearsed. They turned the camera on and let me go because Carl knew that's the best way to do is let him be free. Don't give him a script. Let him be Chris. And so I say what I'm feeling. You see what I'm saying? And so my whole point that what I'm saying, guys, is in the midst of all that situation, I'm living my life clouded. Like, I'm living my life 20% broken. I don't know who I am, yet I'm pursuing my dreams and goals. I'm letting life just slap me around. I have no control over my life at all. I'm making good decisions. I'm making bad decisions, but I'm living ignorantly, not stupid, not meaning stupid, but meaning not knowing who I am. Because when you know who you are, you make certain decisions, right? If you know who you are, you make certain decisions. So what I had to do is I had to grab a piece of paper. And in this piece of paper, I wrote down all the things that I felt was the root of the problem. The molestation, the abandonment, the rejection, the betrayal, the insecurities, the depression, all the things that had a stronghold on me. And what I did is I looked at each and every one of those things and I announced it. Depression, I know who you are. I acknowledge you. I acknowledge the impact you've had on my life up until this point. Molestation, I know who you are. I know how I was violated. I understand all of the influence and impact you've had on me up until this point. I went down the line. There's two things in the world that's the most powerful when it comes to destroying things: fire and water. I went outside my apartment. I had all that stuff on a piece of paper. I lit it on fire. When I lit it on fire, I destroyed it. So what I did is when I read it on a piece of paper, I announced it. I acknowledged it. I'm no longer in denial to this situation. I'm claiming control of my mind. I'm claiming control of my identity. I announced each and everything. But when I burned it, I denounced it. I denounced it out of my spirit. You see what I'm saying? And in the midst of all of that, years later, when I got in that jam 2 years ago, I learned the power of that letter. That letter, I've been stressing to you guys for 7 months to write to yourself, is powerful. When you go down a list and announce all the things that's ever held you back, acknowledge it for what it is. Own 100% responsibility for allowing it to have impact in your life, whether you realize it or not. And then you denounce it, flush it down the toilet or burn it. Now you go to your paper. What do you want? People say, I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am. That's the easiest thing in the world. Who are you? Write on a piece of paper. What do you want? What do you want to accomplish? Look at your personal life. What does your body look like? What does your mind look like? How do you treat your kids? What kind of coach are you? Don't say I want to be a top 10 coach. I don't want to hear that. What does that mean? Why do you have to put top 10? So what? If you put top 10, that's telling me you putting a ceiling over your head. So if you become 11, what? You're just not as valuable because you went from 10 to 11? It shouldn't be about a top 10. It should be about being the best coach you can be based on the goals you want. You see what I'm saying? And what my whole point is, what I'm trying to express to you guys is, you put down as a coach, how big is your team? How big do you want that team to be? How much money do you want to make? What does that look like? Write it down on a piece of paper. Then you go physically. What do you look like physically? Are you in the best shape of your life? Whatever it is, write on a piece of paper. How do you treat your kids? What's your relationship like with your kids? Write on that piece of paper. Relationship with your spouse, write on that piece of paper. Relationship with your friends, your family, write on a piece of paper. Here's the powerful thing right here. You denounced all the other stuff that held you back. You wrote down on the paper everything you want. That's your identity. Where did it come from? It didn't come from the sky. It came from within you. That's your purpose on that paper. So what you do to manifest this, to bring it into reality, is here's the powerful and the best part of it. In the physical realm, you still see your old circumstances, but on the paper is all faith. You got to make decisions every single day, all day, that complement that paper. Because here's the deal. If you say I'm in the best shape of my life, what does that look like? What foods do you eat on a daily basis that complement that confession? You see what I'm saying? Your husband, your wife, whatever it may be, whatever your relationship is with them that you want it to be, in the physical, do you treat them that reflects that paper? Because here's the deal. If you don't eat the foods that complement the body, you don't treat your loved ones the way you're supposed to, if you don't run your team based on the goals you have right now without the goals fully manifesting, then guess what? You're allowing all those things you denounce to come back. Because something wants control of your identity, period. Whether you realize it or not, you're always creating. You're creating even when you don't want to. Show you how powerful we are. We create ignorantly. Every situation we have, we created it. You see what I'm saying? So what I want you to understand is everything you do on a daily basis has to complement that paper, that letter. When you do that, that's how you shape your identity. When you shape your identity, you know who you are. When you know who you are, guess what? You know where you're going. When you know where you're going, there's no such thing as competition. There's no such thing as ego. There's no such thing in there when you walk in your purpose. When you know who you are, when you complement that paper on your day-to-day basis, guess what you're doing? You're staying connected to your purpose. You are safe from everything. The only time you're not safe is where you bring conflict. Okay, I'm in the best shape of my life, but I just ate something. Look what just happened between you and your purpose. Look, boom, you just formed a gap. You make another bad decision. Boom, you just formed another gap. You make another bad decision. You didn't form another gap. Guess what? The stuff you announced said, oh, there's room for me. Comes back in, boom, in between you and your purpose. Now you got a problem in here. Now you're confused. Now you emotionally torment. You know why? You're emotionally tormented because you disconnected from your purpose. That's some powerful stuff. That's what's wrong with the network. Your business isn't struggling. You don't have weight problems. You just don't know who you are. You don't know what you're entitled to. You don't know what your birthright is. You don't know that you're supposed to be successful, healthy, having peace, joy, love, all the fruits. You don't know that you're entitled to that. You know why? Because some of us took on the insecurities of other people because we don't know who we are. If all of us go out to eat right now and we all order food, right? Everybody goes by one, order their meal. Waiter goes away. Restaurant's packed. There's actually a party right next to us. 20 minutes later, homeboy comes out with the plates like this. Everybody think it's our food because it's a bunch of food and somebody's following them. They come and put a bunch of food on our table and it's none of the stuff we ordered. What are you going to say to this waiter? Sorry, we didn't order that. The party next to us said, hey, oh, that's our food. Okay, takes the food, puts it back at the right place. That's how easy it is to protect your identity. If somebody say, you're an accident, you don't have value, you're not worth it, you can never be anything you set your mind to. Why are you listening to that? If you want to accept food that's not yours, how can you listen to those thoughts? How could you accept those confessions? And the only way a person can get that over on you is if you don't know who you are. There isn't a person on this call that can tell me that I'm not black because I know I'm black. You see what I'm saying? It's just it's that simple. I can't go up to any of you. I can't go up to Emily and say, Emily, you're black. I don't care how many tans she get. If she's living a tanning bed, I can't convince her that she's black because she knows that much. Well, if you know that much, what else do you know about you? I'm looking at all of these intelligent people. Like all of you are so bright. Like you're so special in so many different ways. You just don't know it because you're not practicing it. Throughout the day, let me ask you another question that's going to blow your mind. Throughout the day, we multitask, we do things, right? Throughout the day, how many of you actually ever think about your identity? Nobody does. But you think about everything else. If you walk by a mirror, I bet you see a flaw. But if you ever just stopped and thought about your identity, who you really are. So if you don't think about your identity, how you know where you're going? Yeah, you're going to have successes along the way because that's what you are. You're a creator. But then you're going to have failures. But wouldn't it be so much better to have more success than failure? You're going to have more success when you are connected to your purpose and who you are. When your goals are on that paper and you are living in a physical, everything that's on that paper. Because what happens is as soon as you do that, you're going to attract everything. Everything like attracts like. You know how that works. Everything is going to mirror each other. But if you got conflict in there, you're going to bring confusion. Well, Chris, you're saying we can't I like this, I can't cheat sometime? No, here's my point. I ain't say that. What I'm saying is for the next 90 days, you got to make this your new normal. So when you do eat something that's not that bad, it don't even really matter because you're always so disciplined. You feel so good and love yourself so much, it really doesn't affect you. But when you love other things more than you love yourself, you in trouble. There's no way you can ever be a successful coach being blind. You can't stumble on that. You know why? Because you're dealing with people. The most successful coaches are the type of coaches that can deal with every person, every fitness level, every situation. Let me give you some enlightenment. Everything that you're struggling right now, on the other side of that is going to be more armor for your coaching. The more you overcome your struggles, that's going to make you the complete coach to be able to deal with each and every person that comes on your team. That's solid. How can you not succeed when you have all the answers all the time? You can handle every situation all the time. Here's another thing you guys that I would love for you to stop doing. Why in the world do you guys panic over somebody on your team making a rank so that you can make a rank? That's crazy to me. Why would you give someone that much control over your business that you need them to perform so that you can advance? That's insane to me. Why is that insane, Chris? Easy. Because if you look at that paper and you talk about the type of coach you are, you're going to dominate your team always because you're walking it out on a daily basis. No one can control your team but you because of the mindset you have based on that paper. So if you say my team has 1,000 people, what is your day-to-day actions that reflect you have 1,000 people on your team? What does that type of coach do? If your team is big, I mean real big, what is your day-to-day operations? Because you can't wait for the team to get that big to do it, because it's never going to get that way, because you don't have that you got to practice it before it gets there. It has to attract to something. The reason why you gain a couple coaches, lose a couple coaches, is because that's because of the consistency that you approach your business. You don't even see yourself as great. Most of us on this call is afraid of success. How are you afraid of something that was given to you? What are you afraid of? You afraid to be successful? Oh, then kick me off. What happened? There we go. See? Even Zoom couldn't take it. But you see my point? What are you afraid of? You afraid to be financially stable? What, you're afraid to like be able to put your kids through good, nice schools? You're afraid that you're going to get ridiculed because someone else didn't make it and you're going to lose a friend? Man, I lost so many friends since this, and I'm glad. You know why? Because if I would have kept them, I would have brought them along with me, and I would have had leeches. But it's kind of ironic is as I lost friends, I gained some smarter ones that actually complement my lifestyle. I complement their. It's a give and take type of thing. So I just need you guys to understand that, like, you're not struggling. Don't listen to that lie. There's nothing wrong with your team. There's nothing wrong with your body. There's nothing wrong with anything. The only thing that's wrong is you just don't know who you are. So we got to start at the foundation. You got to write that letter, man. I'm trying to tell you, that is your breakthrough. You have to write these goals down, and you got to walk it out as if it's happening right now. Stop saying I'm becoming this, or as soon as this, or I'm about to do this. That's called a delayed confession. If I say I'm about to do this, guess what? I'm always going to be about to doing something. Or I'm becoming this. Well, when does it ever show up? I'm always becoming. That's a delayed confession. See how sneaky that is? All right. I'm done ranting. Open it up. What you got? Come on. Somebody has some questions. I'm going to ask that baby. Caitlin, I'm going to ask that baby. Look at that. Powerful. Right there. Anybody have any questions? Unmute yourself. No one has a question? I'm shocked.
Okay, someone asked if you're working on a current fitness program. I don't know if you can see the chat box or not.
I'm working on a fitness program currently. Well, I mean, I'm thinking about it. Okay.
He's calling
It's close to my mind. I'm working on you guys. That's what I'm working on. But yeah, I am actually. It's processing, and it's going to be powerful. It's going to be way better than Shift Shop. I can tell you that right now. How do you stay so positive all the time? Because I love my life. Like I do. And I know what it feels like to be broken. And I know where I came from. And that is the most humble reality that I face on a daily basis, man. I don't have a choice but to be positive, because I already know what happens if I'm not. That's easy. When am I coming to Chicago? Hopefully soon. I gotta go to Indiana first. Jen and Emily be busting my chops about that. I gotta go there first, though. Yep, I'll be in Richmond. Okay, that's powerful. Amy said, how can I listen to you more often to keep me on track? Why would you give me that much credit? Why don't you listen to your purpose? You don't, I just popped up to remind you that there's so much inside of you that you don't rely on me. I'm a human. Like, don't give me that much credit. All the answers you need is already inside of you. You just got to write that letter. Let me see. How do I motivate my challengers to start and complete a program? You motivate your challengers by starting to complete a program, by not focusing on the program. I didn't talk about Shift Shop. I focus on you. You want to get your challengers to complete programs and stay focused and stay consistent? Focus on them. The same thing I just opened you up to, that's how you open them up. It has nothing to do with that. So that's the same thing I always tell people when they say they're overweight. They look in the mirror. That's not fat. No, that's depression. That's fear. That's worry. That's anger. All of that is what you see in the mirror. You're not fat. As soon as you start getting rid of all that stuff, all of a sudden you lose weight. So I wouldn't even focus on the program. That's not even it, because most people don't want to work out anyway. I would focus on their mindset, because you can give me a program. Check this out. I can give you a program. You can follow for 21 days, get in great shape. Guess what? Have one bad weekend of partying, another weekend of family reunion, put on 10, 15 pounds, get depressed. But if I give you a mindset, you can accomplish anything you want for however long you want it. Focus on the mindset. Don't focus on the program, not even mine. Oh, so, Angie, how many of you guys heard about my experience in Tampa? Did y'all hear about that? Oh, snap. All right. I had to tell you this. So I'm in Tampa, right? Right before I had to go on Super Saturday, last one. The day before I left, Beachbody called and they said that we're not going to do a Shift Shop infomercial. And I was like, oh, like I was just kind of like, what do you mean? And it was just in the way that my team explained it, I got it. People don't watch TV, everything is social, and we're just trying to figure out how to really amplify, really magnify your social presence. But it doesn't make sense to spend the money on an infomercial because people don't watch TV. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm the one you need to put on TV. You know what I'm saying? Because I can talk to a person. And so I said, okay. So there was a part of me was like disappointed in a sense. Like, man, like that just kind of crushed me because it was supposed to come out in October. And so I get on the plane and I'm sitting on the plane and I'm just kind of like, just kind of looking, just daydreaming like, dang, man, I got to figure this one out. So I get to Tampa. I don't feel good. I just wasn't feeling good. So I procrastinated about going to Whole Foods. Finally, I needed food. So I said, all right, I'm going to Whole Foods. Called an Uber, went to Whole Foods in this really nice area. Like I'm talking about beautiful area. And there's this guy outside of Whole Foods, matted hair, dirty clothes. And I'm looking like, I don't understand how there's a bum in this area. Like, how did he get here? It didn't even make sense. Like, I've just never seen an area so plush. So people are walking by. He ain't saying nothing to anybody. I walk up to the door. Homeboy says, hey, man, can you spare a couple bucks? And I was like, you hungry? He was like, yeah. And he did this little gallop, like this little kid, like gallop out of excitement because I offered him food, right? So I was just like, that's interesting. So we walk into Whole Foods, and you know how they got the hot section, right? Walk in. I said, man, get anything you want, anything in the store you want that you can carry. Here's some good foods here so you can get a nice meal. And he's looking around. He said, I'll just take some pizza. He said, it's right there, actually. So I said, you don't want none of this? It's like beef and steak and cauliflower and mashed potatoes. No, I'll just take the pizza. I said, all right. Walked him over to the pizza section. Big old slices of pizza. 2 little pieces, like so small that my son CJ would eat it. He said, I'll take those 2 little small pieces right there. And he said, I'll take the 1 small piece. I'm sorry. And I was like, that's all you want is a small piece of pizza? I felt guilty. So I said, ma'am, can you give him both of them? He said, no, I don't want. I said, no, take both of them, man. So he took both of them. I said, you want something to drink? He was like, are you sure? I said, man, get anything in the store you want, anything you can carry, any snack, whatever, anything you can hold in your hands, man, as much as you want, go get it. And he left, was gone for about 40 seconds, came darting around the corner, childlike look on his face. He had a 16-ounce chocolate milk. So I'm processing this like, chocolate milk? 2 pieces of pizza? You want anything else? Oh, no, that's plenty. I'm like, okay. Take him to the register, paying for his food. And it hit me. I reached in my pocket, pulled him to the side. I said, look me right in my eyes, man. Look me right here. He looked at me. His eyeballs was jumping. When you look at somebody's eyes, that's a gateway to the soul. I saw a little kid. I saw a boy trapped in a man's body because I started thinking about his actions, excited with the chocolate milk, the little gallop when he walked in. I said, I'm going to give you this $20. This $20 is either going to make you or break you depending on how you spend it. To some people, this is not a lot of money, but to you, you are wealthy because this is all you got. If you get high with this $20, I pray to God it's the worst high you've ever had in your life. But I'm telling you, how you manage this $20 is going to determine how your life go from here on. Place it in his hand. He went to shake my hand. I shook his hand, and he walked out. I'm walking through Whole Foods, getting my stuff. All of a sudden, my eyes welded up. Poof! Start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. I heard it crystal clear. You gave this guy the whole grocery store. As much as he wanted, as much as he can hold. And all he settled for was 2 small pieces of pizza and a 16-ounce chocolate milk. Offered him the whole store. Why are you worried about an infomercial on television when you was discovered on YouTube where there's various countries? I gave you all this talent with boundless, endless opportunity, and you're going to let an infomercial get you down when I gave you the whole world on YouTube where you was discovered. Went back to the hotel, couldn't even eat. Sitting there thinking like, I'll offer this dude the whole grocery store. He settled for 2 pieces of bread, 2 pieces of pizza, 16 ounces of chocolate milk. I'm over here all like bothered by the whole infomercial thing on a television screen when everybody buys cable and you can't even get all the channels on the cable anyway, and it's only for your area as far in satellite to other, but you don't get the masses that you would get on YouTube. YouTube is my television station. So what I did is I called Beachbody and I asked for my masters because I know how to film and edit. So now I'm creating my own infomercial that I'm going to put on YouTube. My whole point to all of this, guys, is we have this whole big old world, man. And what are we settling for? 2 pieces of small pizza and chocolate milk. When you got boundless, endless opportunities because you got a purpose that's greater than anything you can ever imagine, but you don't even know it's there because you don't even know who you are. That's heavy. Wow. Any other questions? I got 15 minutes.
Hey, Chris, I got a question. Question. So I think if there could be a silence in a virtual room, like you have it, like, holy cow. So thank you for this call. Like, I stopped taking notes because my mind is so blown. But so my question to you is, like we ask, how are you so positive and this and that, but a lot of that, for me, like if somebody asked me that, it's because of how I was raised by my grandparents. And so I'm wondering, like, where organically does this come from you? Like, who has instilled this in you, or who's inspired you to get to this point?
Oh, it had to be my uncle. It had to be, because he had the dream. If he didn't have that dream, I wouldn't be in front of this camera. That's the only person I could think of. He had the dream. I had no interest in training, personal training, group training, nothing. And if he would have never passed away, I wouldn't have did it, because I was modeling and acting. That's what my passions were. I had no interest in becoming a trainer. I did this to shake the depression. I did it because he wanted me to do it, and I fell in love with it. So, yeah, I'd have to say him for sure.
Well, we are thankful for your uncle.
Let me see here. Anybody else? But you guys get what I understand when you say, like, how do I keep my challengers consistent on a program? It ain't got nothing to do with the program. But that's why you see that's like a common question, right? It's got to do with this. It's got to do with the mindset. You got to hold people's hands sometimes, guys. You really do. There's different people. There's people that jump on the bandwagon, they'll go hard. Some people you got to hold their hand because you don't know their story. But that's what's going to develop you as a great coach. That's why that shop rule, celebrate the challenge. There you go. The hardest thing I had to experience lately, and I've been challenged, the hardest thing I had to experience was my daughter, my baby girl, Jace. I have Jace 60% of the time. I got divorced 7 years ago, and the parenting agreement was, at the time, every Wednesday, every other weekend. 3 weeks after we got divorced, that broke. I had her all the time. And her mom never said anything. We had no problems because she's always with me. The moment Shift Shop came out, actually, it came out publicly on the 9th. On the 10th, I went to pick my daughter up. She told me I couldn't come get her. I'm like, huh? I just had her last week. And I had to go away for an event. And the crazy part is, right before I left for the event, she has a 4-year-old daughter. I gave this little 4-year-old daughter, her 4-year-old daughter, a complete bedroom set because she didn't have one. So I gave it to her. That's not my kid. I gave it to her. But then the day after Shift Shop came out, she said I couldn't see my kid. And I'm thinking, this is a joke, right? No, she meant this. She said, no, we're going to go back to the parenting agreement from 7 years ago. And I was like, why? Let's be honest. Because she knew I had her 60% of the time. So in order for her to get more child support, she had to prove that she had her more. So I said, aha, okay. So we going there. So I just filed for custody. And we've had 4 court dates already. The judge, they make a decision in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The crazy part about it, we had a child support hearing 2 weeks ago. They requested $206,000 a year. Yes. I almost threw up. That's what her lawyer requested in the courtroom. $206,000 a year. This chick is a manager at Starbucks. And here's the crazy part. I've been going through this since August. Remember that 80-20 I told you about? I immediately went to it. If I hold any resentment in my heart towards this woman, I got influence over the masses right now. That's going to affect my gift. So I had to walk in so much love towards her all this time. I'm talking about Christmas gifts. What do you want for Christmas? I'm talking about giving her gas money because she didn't want to come to my house. I live too far to get my daughter. I'll give you gas money to come get her. Sending extra stuff to her house. I had to make myself walk in so much love, even though I felt so abandoned and betrayed by her, man. And we actually got along very well prior to this. But I knew it was at stake. Here's the crazy thing. You guys, anybody go to leadership in Vegas? So check this out. Tony got sick, right? And they asked me to fill in for him. Well, that weekend was my weekend. I was supposed to have my daughter. So I called her mom. Hey, listen, something happened with work. Tony Horton got sick. They need me to fill in for him. Can you swap weekends with me? Absolutely not. That's not my problem. That's your problem. They're trying to prove that I'm too busy to have my kid. So I had a decision to make. The masses or this situation. So I started thinking, if it wasn't for Beachbody, I wouldn't be able to afford the attorney I have. If it wasn't for Beachbody, I wouldn't be able to provide my daughter the life that she has. If it wasn't for Beachbody, I wouldn't be able to provide little Chris, Raven, none of my kids, Liam, the kids that I have, the lifestyle they have. I had to go with that. So I got on a plane. I said, no, I gotta pay respect to what got me to this place. I can't let this fear. I got on a plane. I went to Vegas anyway. And it was hands down the best performance I ever had because I was emotional. I had so much emotion and I was literally pouring my passion into you guys to get this mindset, because this mindset is the only thing that keeps me moving forward. I don't have time to doubt. I don't have time to have fear. And this situation was another situation that reminded me that I always got to be on my game. Because who can you really trust? For real. So I'm saying all that to say this. Who are you? You got to master that. Because if you don't master it, somebody else going to master it for you. My grandma told me one of the most powerful things when I was a child before she died. She was on her deathbed. I was 12 years old. She looked me right in my face. She said, honey, you are special. You have a heart of gold. You are a loving person. She said, I want you to give up your talents. Whatever talents that you produce, I want you to give up your resources, give up your time. Always be willing to help others. But whatever you do, don't ever give a person your sanity. Because if you give them your sanity, you might not get it back. That was one of the most powerful things I ever heard in my life. And I started looking at different situations in my life that's happened up until this point where my sanity was at stake. Is that making sense to you? This is bigger than a workout program, guys. That's a workout program is a perk. There's a much bigger purpose inside of you than a workout program. You're a coach for a reason, because you're a trendsetter. You're a leader over the masses. All right, a couple more minutes, and I gotta go and hop on another call. 6 minutes. Ask away.
Hi, Chris.
Where you be? Wave. Oh, you.
Oh, me.
I'm joking.
Go blue.
Next question.
In our Michigan one, you shared with us what you do for your PD in your closet, and I think they would really enjoy hearing kind of how you do your personal development every day.
My closet. Dang, y'all know a lot about me.
You told us.
Oh, that is right. I gotta watch what I say. So, my closet, I sit in my closet in the dark, and when I pray or I meditate, I don't ever ask for anything, because I already felt like He already gave it all to me. I just didn't know it. And so I just thank God for everything that's on that paper. I thank Him that I already have it. And then the hardest part of accomplishing any dream and goal is not the dream and goal. It's convincing yourself that it's yours. That's it. So, I try to always remind myself that, gratitude is always number one. But in that closet, it's dark. I really tap in, man. Like, I really connect to my emotions. And it's always out of just being grateful. I don't ask for anything. You can't ask for something you already have. And so I like to do it like 3:45, 4 in the morning, because look at Jen, like, what? Because that's the quiet time. Like, everyone's sleeping. I might hear a cricket or two, but even the night is calm. You see what I'm saying? And if you even look in the Bible, it always said, like, Jesus prayed at early hours in the morning. That's probably the only Bible verse I know. but yeah, I just kind of was like, that's pretty heavy. Like, He did it, So yeah, that's my closet story. All right. What else we got?
What personal development are you into right now?
So with personal development, I go in seasons. There's a season where I'll listen to Oprah, I'll listen to Tony Robbins, just kind of whoever, whoever I'm led to. And then there's a season like I'm in right now where I don't listen to anybody, because I need to listen to my purpose. I need to, because here's the deal. They're all such great people and gurus that if I get her perspective on something and Tony Robbins' perspective on the same thing, I don't want to get confused. So this is a point of, like, when I know I have like I'm so passionate about getting you guys this mindset, I don't want to listen to anybody. I want to listen to my heart, my purpose, because my purpose will never, ever, ever fail me. It's when a time where I feel like I'm in a good place, where I'm not, so busy pouring into others is when I'll sit back and listen to other people in leisure. But right now, I got to be on my game because that shapes my identity of who I am. I don't ever want to rely on somebody else for my identity. Wow, Robert, that's powerful. Anybody else have any questions? Come on. Somebody. All right, Caitlin. Any more questions? 2 minutes.
Hi.
Where you at? That was the softest voice.
Michaela. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you.
Okay, hi. It is so nice and such an honor to talk to you. I am just wondering, can you go over the letter again and how to write it and what to write on the letter to kind of throw out and toss away?
Yeah. Okay. So on the letter, you got to look at the major areas of your life, whatever they are. So you definitely want to go over physically, because when you feel good about yourself, life, you look at life through different lenses. So you definitely want to go physically, mentally. What are your thoughts like? Emotionally, how are you emotionally? Are you emotionally stable? You can say emotionally, I'm always in charge of my emotions and I keep everything in front of me. What I mean by that is if I'm faced with an altercation or even a situation, I don't want to connect with that altercation because it's going to create chaos. I got to keep it in front of me so that I can strategically deal with it. Does that make sense? So it basically, that confession is more of an awareness confession, that you're always aware of what's presenting itself. Okay. And then you want to really dig deeper. You want to go into your coaching business because that's why you are here. What kind of coach are you? Like what? And it's so easy. You don't have to make it hard. It's just two simple things. How many members do you have on your team? And how much revenue do you make? Those are only two factors. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because when you know how many people you have and what revenue you want to bring in, you obviously know that's going to take some serious work. Like, what does it take to sustain that lifestyle? And if you want to put extra notes, how do you communicate with your team? I'm going to give you guys a gold nugget. Stop talking about programs. Start working on their mindset. Programs should be this much. Their mindset should be that much. You got to talk about the program because obviously you got to sell it. But what I'm saying is don't let that be your prime, because that's when people start feeling pressure. But if you talk about somebody's mindset, how's there pressure in that? There's no pressure in that. They're going to be like, oh, you're right. You know what I mean? But if you like 21-day fix, shift shop, T25, you got to do like, I don't even like to work out. You know what I mean? But if you work on their mindset, you're going to get their attention a lot longer. And then start working on the home stuff. Like, what's your relationship like with your spouse? What's your relationship like with your kids? What do you want it to be? The cool thing about that whole process is you have no control over how that person responds. And this is what I feel like I need to do, because there's a part two to the home situation that I got to help you with. So I'm gonna text Josh. We're gonna do another call. We're gonna do it when I come back from Super Saturday, because it's another level to this that you got to get to bring it all the way in. So what's your relationship like at home with your spouse, with your kids, your coaching business? How big is it? How much revenue do you make? And in that time between now and when I come back, I need you to start breaking down. You don't have to tell me, but what do you think the day-to-day operation should be to sustain that level? And then again, what do you look like? Explain that. It's more than I'm in the best shape of my life. I got more energy. I've had muscles that I didn't even know I had. You got to write it down. Mentally, what are your confessions like? I'm so grateful that I just express so much passion and gratitude and love for others. My heart is filled with bringing out the best in others. See what I'm saying? That's a good emotional one as well. So you want to go mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and your family. And you fill in the dots. That make sense? And then we'll do another one on I'll text him when I get off. We'll just shoot it for like after Super Saturday. and then you guys and then we'll really dig in. It'll bring it together. Then you'll feel real full. All right, guys. All right. I gotta call Denver. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me, man. This has been awesome. All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
I see you guys.
All right.
See you soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.